Hello.
Ah!
Welcome to the RT podcast. My name is Brandon.
I'm Blaine.
I'm Chris.
I'm Raffaello.
And I'm Gus. This episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast is brought to you by MeUndies, Movement Watches, and Nature Box. That's MeUndies, Movement Watches, and Nature Box.
All right, so I have a question.
Nailed that.
Oh, did you nail it?
I nailed it.
That's good. I have a question for the group. It's a very important question. When I say the group, I really mean Blaine. Okay. So when you're getting drunk, before you're getting drunk, is there a particular food that you want to aim for that's better coming out later?
Oh.
Do you have like a specific like go-to, like this won't hurt me as bad later?
I never drink to get like so wasted that I'm going to throw up.
Never. It's
That
never happened.
Well, no. No.
Yeah,
It was not my intention.
I think that's what the rest of us do. It's like that's the most pleasurable part, right? Is the hurling? Yeah.
Well, you've got a really good method. Brandon, you got a method for overcoming hangovers, which is just to vomit out the
It's a very, very
alcohol.
healthy way. Yeah, I don't do this so much anymore because I don't drink that much. But in college, I'd get home after a great night, go to my toilet, vomit as much as I could.
Intentionally, you're saying.
Intentionally vomit, because then otherwise you're just
holding
sleeping
on to it,
and
yeah.
your body is just processing that alcohol,
Oh,
and you're
man.
getting drunker and drunker and drunker. Then I'd wake up in the morning, feel like $1,000,000, get some breakfast, have some eggs, and like whistle.
That method makes
that's-
perfect sense, but I can't imagine that it's good for your body, like your teeth and your esophagus, like all that acid and stuff.
Well, if you're
like
not
that.
doing it like every day for every meal,
True.
Also, I heard someone recently told me that if you drink, no, you don't drink. You eat charcoal.
Oh, yeah,
you.
yeah.
No.
Well,
no, this is an actual thing. Not like
you poop diamonds.
not like I'm not saying go get charcoal from your barbecue thing. I'm sorry, there's like charcoal capsules.
Oh, okay.
That's what they give you whenever you have like you get poisoned or something.
yeah, they had to give
Isn't
Penny
that
the.
what Pepto-Bismol is made out of? It's charcoal? Isn't that what's going on with the coal industry in America?
That's
Is
why
that
we're
a
opening all these
problem?
mines.
I know, seriously. So you drank a lot to the point where you actually threw up. Did you actually get drunk for that interview? Where you interviewed yourself?
Yeah.
And then
no.
you threw up.
I was aiming
On
to
purpose?
get not. I was not aiming to
purpose?
barf.
Blaine, it was brown.
It was.
Brian,
like,
what did you eat?
It was red. I don't know. I don't know anything about that night.
so
So
you,
I-
you
Do you want to give context for what we're for the drunk interview show?
yeah, you
me
did
versus
the
drunk me.
interview show.
right. Me, Ashley, and Chris.
You committed to throwing up. Yes,
I
you
didn't.
did.
I
know
did
you-
not intend to throw up. I swear to God.
He-
But what had happened was, all right, so how this thing is filmed is we go in, we film our sober selves, we ask the questions that the drunk selves are going to be answering. So then after our sober selves are done talking, then we go and we start just drinking. We start getting shots, we start getting drunk. And then how it was supposed to go was it was going to be me getting interviewed, then Ashley, and then Chris.
No,
Oh,
it
so you
was
guys
me,
don't-
it was you, me, and then Ashley.
Yeah, so me, Chris, and
Oh, so
Ashley.
you guys did it at the same time.
yeah, all
Right,
one
all
night.
in the same night because we wanted to just knock them all out. So I just couldn't get drunk, and I was drinking, and I was drinking, and I was the first one up, and I was like, no more. It's actually smells good.
Come on, or you'll go through withdrawal.
So what had happened was I was supposed to go first. I couldn't get drunk, so then I think Chris got wasted really quick. So then Chris was a lightweight, and then he jumped in front of me. Oh, barf warning, by the way. I needed to tell everybody that if you're watching the video podcast, you're about to see barf.
yeah, but barf's funny.
So Chris jumped in front of me,
always
and
been
then
funny.
somehow Ashley jumped in front of me. So like this entire time, I've been drinking
Oh,
and drinking.
God.
Oh God!
No, Ashley didn't go in front of you. You went right after me.
No,
Yes, she did.
Ashley sat in my puke then, because like there was vomit all over that seat.
Technically,
cleaned
we're
it
on the
up.
same set, right? Aren't we? So I mean, we're kind of sitting
No,
in it now, aren't we?
it was an old podcast set.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Looked like cat piss. Smelled like it,
Oh
too.
God! So you did that for real?
Mhm.
That's commitment.
Then, like everybody, the comments were like, "Oh wow!" Like I thought he was acting until he just started hurling.
You got on the it got on the front page of Reddit, right?
Yeah,
That's all you have to do.
people like puke.
That's all you have to do.
It's impressive. It's about one of those things like, you know, your parents, your grandma showing off all your stuff. Like, look, I'm so proud of him.
I'm just gonna have that in my acting reel now.
Or when you run for political office.
Sure.
Blaine, what's the weirdest thing?
he could get elected still.
Yeah.
And today, in the post-Trump era, Blaine vomiting on himself is not going to be a hang-up.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think you're probably true.
When did you put a
that.
hat on?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was really weird. I looked at you, said something to Blaine. I look back and you're like wearing a hat.
Wait till later when you find out your wallet's gone.
Use a clown costume.
Blaine, what's the craziest thing you ever did to like?
Oh, Okay, you want to know the worst thing that can happen to a man ever? Talking about unnatural feelings.
ahead.
Okay, go on.
You took your Viagra and you vomited.
So I've had some issues, medical issues, and boy, when you get old, it's fun. So I had to have a scoping of my bladder. I've had to have a lot of fun.
Scoping?
A scoping of your bladder.
What is that? Camera?
That's when they take a camera and they put it into your bladder.
How did they get it there?
Oh, Blaine, how did they get the camera in? How did they get the camera in there? If you ask me, I'd rather they just stab me in my heart and then inject it through that, but that's not how they do it, apparently. How they do it is you go into the room, and there are these things hanging from the wall that are the most horrible things you've ever seen in your life. And then there's a chair, and the chair is horrible, too.
There's stirrups?
And then there's like, there wasn't stirrups, but there could have been. And then there was like a blanket, and the blanket thing, and then you sit down in the chair, and then a guy comes in the room. He goes, "All right, you have to take your pants off now, or the blanket." And you go, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Are you allergic to iodine?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't even met you before." And then they put iodine on your things. And then the doctor comes in later, and then he goes, "Hey, did you see that basketball game last night?" And that's where they have you, because that's where they've started the lie. Once the doctor starts the lie, you're like, "Oh, yes, doctor, I did see the basketball." Boom. And that's when they go in for the kill.
Wait, are they?
That's when they go in for the kill. Like, "Oh, yes, I have a thought." Like he's tricking you, like he's distracting you. It's like, "Oh, I'm interested in basketball." Biggest pain I've ever felt in my entire life. Biggest pain you've ever. The first guy was like, "Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. This isn't gonna be great. But it's not as bad as you think it's going to be." But here's the thing, those fuckers, and I've had to do this multiple times now.
What?
Yeah, I've had to do this multiple times now because everyone just thinks it's funny to send you all spending money on medical bills. So I've had to do this multiple times. The first time was after passing kidney stones, which is already the most painful goddamn thing you could ever do in your life. And after you pass kidney stones, there's parts of your internal organs that are a little bit raw. And then after they're a little bit raw, then they stick medical equipment past the same area.
Okay, so to be clear, we're talking about the urethra.
That's painful. That's painful.
They're just sticking it in
And
the
that
pee
time I went, it was like literally a week. I was walking around like, for like a week. And I was like, this is where, and I knew I had to go back.
hole. This is hurting.
So I went back, and I was like, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be horrible. And it was bad. And they're going, and it's like drilling for oil. And they're like, "Don't worry, as soon as we hit to the fracking stage, it won't be as bad." And so they get to like that sediment layer, and it's still bad, but it's not as bad. And you're like, "Okay." And the funny thing is, too, the doctor's like, "You're going to have the urge to tighten up, and don't do that." And of course, like your body's like, "Ugh!" Because it's like, something is probing inside of you, and your body's like, "Get it out!" Like all your muscles, like that's why you have ass muscles and muscles in your groin. The only reason for all those muscles is like, "Get it out of me."
Yeah, and you have to tell your muscles,
they don't work backwards.
"Buddy, trust me,
So
this
he's
is
like,
okay."
"Ugh," and I'm just like, "Okay." I mean, that is like, you have to have the mental capacity of a Jedi Knight. To
Is that what they train for?
Yeah, to like, breathe. So I'm like breathing. And fuck you, people who give birth. "Oh, giving birth to children is so hard." No, fuck you, it's not. Okay? What men have to go through. Let me tell you something about mathematical ratios. Okay, it's this big. It's this big, and it's not meant to get bigger. You guys are meant to get big. You're flowers. You bloom. You fuckers are flowers. We are not fucking flowers. We're fucking sticks. You know what stick is inside another stick. That's not where sticks are supposed to go. No one goes, "Hey, there's a stick. Let's put a stick inside of it." That's against nature. That's against nature. So, God damn it.
Did you pop the Viagra before, just make it easier? So they just go like
Straight
straight line.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing too. Is like I'm thinking to myself, man, these fuckers have to sit there and do this shit to people all fucking day long. That's their job. It's like, "Oh, here comes another thing. We gotta stick a stick in it. And I gotta explain to the stick that's not gonna be fun."
So is it like a cord, like a tubey thing?
I'm imagining. Have you ever seen The Matrix?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Destroyed.
Again, when I walked in the room and had the thing hanging on the wall, I'm like laying in the chair, and the doctor goes, "Most people don't look." I'm like, I'm not gonna look.
Yeah.
So I didn't look. I'm not gonna look. I don't want to look.
But was it like
I made that mistake when I was 7 because I had an operation on my leg, and the doctor was like, "Want to watch?" I'm like, "Yeah." Don't watch.
No, it's never
Don't
good.
watch.
I had to do the same thing like 5 years ago, and they were just like, well, we're just down here. We'll put a curtain if you want to go and look. And I was like, look, you know what? I don't want that image burned into my mind. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, like with that, or in like a nightmare, being chased by one of those probes.
So like it was my second fucking time, right? So I get through with it, and I remember telling that dude because he remembered me from last time. I'm like, oh hey. He's like, oh hey.
You're the one who screamed and cried,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, I remember you. I remember you. You remember me. All right, great. Okay, so that's great. And I remember telling him up front, I was like, yeah, that was the most horrifically painful thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I couldn't walk for a week. And he's like, oh. And I guess apparently what happened to me was not ordinary because I guess it was worse for me because he's like, oh, because when I came back after the procedure, he's like, well, here are some pills. And here's the green pill. The green pill is going to turn your
It
urine.
is the Matrix.
Yeah, oh my God, it is. It is. I took the green pill and woke up to this shit. Fucking crap. So he goes, the green pill will turn your urine blue. And you won't, and it did. It turned my urine blue. And it's not nearly as painful. And I literally was like, where was that pill last time? And he's like, oh, we were probably out. We go through them all the time. And how much money is going into medical facilities? Don't run out of the pill. Don't run out of the pill.
I'd like to imagine.
Tell me when this pill is stored.
Yeah.
I will drive there right now.
I'll reschedule for the pill. So that's bad. That's all bad. And by the way, if you're a dude, guess what? You are getting prostate cancer. You're getting prostate cancer. You get to live long enough to get prostate cancer.
Salute to
That's
that.
it. If you're a dude, you get to live long enough to get prostate cancer. So that got real quiet in here all of a sudden. All the laughing stopped.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, fuck. So and that's the deal, and we suck, our gender sucks, everything sucks about us, and we suck.
So
And there's nothing to be done.
when I had that done, I was single, and I remember thinking how depressing it was because my urologist was a much older
You
man.
had the same thing happen?
Yeah. And I remember thinking like, man,
No,
this guy has seen my penis longer than like anybody else in the last 3 months.
No girl has seen my junk.
Yeah.
And this 50-year-old dude has seen my junk.
Yeah,
So-
so I was like, well, do I need to like landscape beforehand just to be like considerate or like,
To make it look bigger, at least.
yeah.
They don't like it when you're cracking jokes because like sometimes I had some surgeries and they like shave you down there and it's like I know this one guy who was like doing the shaving and had like a ring where he went like to the Naval Academy and I'm like went to the Naval Academy for this, huh? No sense of humor.
Also, he starts
It's
laughing
like-
while the rod is in your
he's got a
cock.
fucking knife near my nuts. That's a great idea. I'm gonna see if the guy who has the knife by my nuts can laugh a lot. Smart.
So
Like an old barber shop, it's just like a giant razor.
Oh,
So
fuck.
when they pull out, is it like subtle and slow, or do they like?
Well, the funny thing about unbelievable magnified pain beyond all realm of reality is that when you feel that, something that's super painful is relief. So the
Relief
pulling
is
out was painful, but it was a relief because it wasn't as painful
That's cool.
as you're sitting there and you're like, all right, just another minute, just hang on, I'm looking around, and you're just God, and you get out. But what was I can't remember. There's some other. I think that I'm mentally blocking out some things
How do they
at this point.
How do they stretch out the pee hole?
Why do you keep asking questions?
How do they stretch
I
it
don't
out to where they
know.
can fit?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
I think the best they can do is just
Well,
lube.
Blaine,
Do they just
Lube.
grab it and then they're like, all right?
Thank
They
goodness.
just get some lube and
Thank
lube it
goodness
up.
my dick is giant. So it was no. Yeah, I don't know. There's liquid things that they use. I don't
Would
know.
it make you
lube it
more
up. They
comfortable
do
if it
lube
was
it up.
like cherry scented? Like just something like
Do you want
distract-
bubblegum flavor?
Anytime you're in life and there's something that's cherry flavored, something's gone horribly wrong. Cherry flavored should not exist. I don't know who came up with that bullshit, but the only thing that should be flavored cherries is fucking cherries. And cherries suck.
Yeah,
like
she's the
cherries.
worst.
Well, cherries are sexy and nice if you're a girl or if you're a Pac-Man. But I don't want to eat them. Like they're good in drinks, but you can't eat them. Like you can't have a cherry by itself. There needs to be like a cocktail near it.
Wait, we're
Right?
not sponsored by cherries. MeUndies.com.
Are we?
No.
I mean, just all of fruit. Fuck all fruit. I mean, what is the fucking point of fruit? It's all. Ugh. We have chocolate now.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree with Joel. It was a horrible experience. I mean, the best thing you could do is like take care of yourself afterwards, like getting a nice pair of MeUndies.
Oh.
Wow.
The audience literally just went.
That was a transition.
Go ahead.
It's all you now.
There's
Now-
a reason we've been telling you about MeUndies for months now. They
Horrible stories. Have I ever told you about my anal fissure?
No.
So when I was little, I used to wipe so hard, and I get them every now and then.
But before you tell the story,
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I have a deep sense of regret for opening my mouth.
For
But go
about
ahead
the-
now.
about the-
Every time I tell a story, I'm like, why the fuck did I tell that story? But go ahead.
You just bring back pain. Well, so I'm just trying to ease the pain
Good.
that you went through by
No
also
amount of,
sharing
no amount
my
of
suffering.
stories gonna ease my pain.
So I used to wipe so hard that I would just get blood in my stool. Like every time I wiped, there'd be blood on the tissue paper.
What?
This is very gross. I know.
Wow,
Wait, I have a question.
You're an intense
like,
human being.
like, is it like a fast rub, like high
Or you just,
friction, or
like-
you just like dig in?
no, just like hut. Like I want to make sure my ass is clean.
because you're thinking, I want to be here as least amount of time as possible. I don't want to be here any longer than I need to be. So
Yeah.
if I need to add pressure, speed, and velocity to like
wipe.
minimize my time, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really make that sound effect? Like you're doing karate?
It's
When it
Mr.
hurt- when I- when I
Miyagi,
have
like, wax on, wax off.
when I have an open anal fissure, then I make that noise. But basically, it's just like it's a little, it's like a fissure. It's a cut that's on your butt. And so it got to be such a problem that like sometimes I'd look down, the toilet bowl would just be like red with blood.
Oh my
Jesus,
god.
It's for a while I thought like I'm a girl, I'm having a period. Like I didn't understand what was happening.
How old were you?
Oh god, I must have been like 11 or 12. I mean, I
So
was
you're
just-
right going
That's
through.
like that's
you're
like,
going
the,
through.
that's like the worst possible age to have that happen because you're just putting things together.
Yeah, so I started like sitting there and was like, is this what's happening?
And then when you didn't have blood, did you think you were pregnant? Like a month later, oh fuck, I'm a girl. Oh fuck, I'm pregnant. Oh fuck.
Just start punching myself in the stomach. But no, so I told my mom because my mom and I are super close.
Wait, so
Sorry.
can
I'm
we
a girl and I'm
reenact
pregnant.
that? I'll be your mom.
So
No, I'll be your mom.
okay, mom,
Yes, honey bunny.
I'm having like some issues. Like I'm kind of
Yeah?
like I like kind of hurt myself in the toilet.
Okay, go. I'm
Don't laugh.
sorry. I'm not trying to laugh.
Don't laugh
son.
at me,
I'm not
Mom.
trying to laugh.
Well-
what kind of? How did you hurt yourself?
Well, like sometimes like there's like blood like when I wipe, and sometimes it's in the stool.
That's how you said it.
Yeah, it was just like I mean you wanted comedy, but this is how it actually went. I was like I have blood in my ass.
That's what I wanted. Blood in my ass.
So she takes me to an ass doctor. I don't know what they're called.
Ass doctors, that's right.
Proctologist?
That's what they're called.
An ass doctor, and this
No,
guy
Chris nailed it. Proctologist.
bends me over, and I think he also was the doctor that said I might have to mention this on the podcast.
Wait, he bended you over. He didn't ask you to bend over.
no,
Was it like he put your
he's
like hand? He was like,
all right, get on the table,
"Down,
drop your
boy."
pants, get on the table.
Do you need a puppet?
No, I don't. Well,
This will be you.
but he basically just bent me down, so I was like on four. I was in doggy style basically, and I think this was also the doctor that was like, "Oh, don't worry, I see little boys like this all the time." And then I was like, like, "Oh no." yeah. He's like, I see these all the time. Was his words.
But he had like was like a Russian accent. He was like,
I think he was like Indian or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, so basically they decided to cauterize the wound, which for those of you who don't know, it means getting
Fire.
a red hot piece of metal, sticking it in my ass. So I'm sitting there, and then he's like, "Okay, this is gonna hurt a little bit," and then it just goes. I could actually hear it. And then I was like, "God!" Like it hurt really bad. And then I shit you not,
I
a couple
bet you
seconds later,
didn't.
a couple seconds later, I smelled like a hamburger like aura. It's a small man burning ass.
"Oh my god, that's disgusting."
So Joel, we all have our things.
Can you eat meat? What do you feel like when you go into McDonald's now?
It just,
Smells like ass burn.
you see Asperger's.
No, ass burn.
I've had that. If you go to the dentist, right, and they use a laser, sometimes you'll smell that, or maybe that's just me.
It's not with your own ass. It's a different dentist.
Does the quality of is ass different enough than face? I think it smells probably. Burning flesh is burning flesh.
yeah, it's not
yeah,
great.
but you add in like the poo factor. You never know.
It's with the hair too.
I mean,
That's what
but
gets you. So,
I was clean though. That's the point of this whole story.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
I wiped so hard I was spotless.
Super clean.
Yeah.
so if you got another one of these and you knew the treatment, would you bother going to the doctor, or would you just do it at home, like the at-home?
Just like get a fork or something. No, I sometimes if I get them anymore, then I just wipe very lightly from then on.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How if I, as your friend, if I was to be like, hey Blaine, I have a problem I need your help with. Will you cauterize my asshole? Would you do it?
Well, it kind of depends, right? Because there's gradations there, right? I mean, there's like the ass, and then there's other more word things.
The inner sanctum.
The inner sanctums. When we were on the Go 90 thing, we were like, ah ha ha, won't this be funny? Let's do a bit where we take one of us out to get our asshole bleached.
And it ended up being like the most complicated thing in the world.
Yeah, and getting your asshole bleached is a huge ordeal. It's a really big deal getting your asshole bleached.
Oh, I know all about. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and surprisingly, you like can't do it in Austin.
No,
we
it's
started
so
calling these places-
specialized. You cannot do asshole bleaching in Austin.
That's on zoning, man. They just don't zone enough asshole bleach buildings.
There's not enough.
Well, to be fair, we did get the take-home kits, and none of us really wanted to do it ourselves because it was like you need to make sure because it's gonna burn.
I had no problem. I was going to do it until after we started interviewing asshole bleaching experts, and they will scare the shit out of you. Because they'll be like, listen,
Hopefully not literally.
there's a lot that can go wrong. It's all fun and games. You think it's funny, but you could end up dead.
How did he die, officer?
Did you pick a color? Did you pick a shade?
I didn't get that far, but I guess there are shades.
So Blaine,
There's different quality.
The real meaning of shades of gray.
what I think would help us
Shades of gray.
understand the story, if you could demonstrate exactly how monsterish you destroyed your ass.
Well, so it's typically about that's too many. It's typically like 4 squares, right? Yeah. And then you fold them because you're not a monster. You don't wad. And then you stick it
oh my God, you're
on your
economical.
hand like so.
Here.
And then my
Here.
pinky is super strong.
This-
So
which
then
one? This is a
no,
butt.
you gotta stick it upright. No, like up, like do this. Okay. Yeah, and then it goes. That's literally the pressure I use. Like
That's
Should I
like
do it again?
this is like the worst secret handshake of all time.
You also spit on my face. while you're doing that.
Whatever club you guys are in, I'm not.
Did you normally spit on? Because you spit all over me.
and it's from behind too. So yeah. I know of people that wipe from the front. I don't know how they do that with the ball situation going on.
No, I don't know why you would do that.
It's sad that we never get to see our own asses in life.
It's not.
It's just not possible.
Depends how flexible you are.
I guess some people are that flexible.
Or if you go to one of those crazy mirror houses,
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
go in, it's like the kid carnival and there's all the mirrors and all the angles. You can see it pretty easily.
So you're in the middle of a house of mirrors and you just pull down your ass.
I wonder how my ass is doing.
What
Yeah,
else?
it's just
There
like-
it is, an obtuse. There it is, like with a little.
There's no other point for a house of mirrors, right? That's the only
Yeah.
justification for a house of mirrors that I can think of.
And the cops come and they try to find you, but they keep running into the mirrors because they can't tell exactly where you are.
Keep running into that guy's asshole.
So I think we all went to UT, right? And I remember
Yeah, we did always.
the thing they tried to scare you with the most as soon as you get there is they're like, you're gonna get an STD. There's no way to avoid it. An STD is gonna find you and is gonna just infect you everywhere. So I've always been super paranoid, but I made it, right? And I thought it'd been on Easy Street, but apparently I think they found hepatitis A in some tuna a couple weeks ago and had to do a national recall. I never heard being able to get an STD like that from shit you eat.
Talk about the worst how did you get an STD story ever.
I swear I was
I
eating
think it's
some
the
sushi.
best. That's the best.
I mean, I
way
get.
you can go.
I don't know unless you really, really like tuna sandwiches to the point of where you're gonna have a pleasurable experience. I don't know.
Well, if you're
I would
it
at
helps
least
if you're in a
get-
committed relationship or married.
with the tuna sandwich.
well, no, and they're your significant other's like, how did you get this? Are you cheating on me? No, baby, it's just the tuna. I love tuna.
Yeah, that's the worst ever. You did not get hepatitis C from tuna sandwich. We're getting divorced.
So it's gonna find me, I guess. Somehow it's gonna find me.
You know, there's some people who got hepatitis another way and are like, yes, I got it out. It was the tuna, baby. I swear.
You know, it was sushi. Cool.
I can't understand how these microphone stands work. They're very complicated.
I don't know. Is hepatitis A worse than B or C?
I don't
It
know.
comes first in the alphabet.
Why do
So-
we not have a doctor on staff during the podcast all the time?
A doctor and
Because we need
scientist.
so many different.
Because then,
speci-
then
like,
we would be getting burned.
Well,
and
Chris
things
got
would
that
get-
show canceled, so
There's somebody else at the company who had that thing.
what thing?
The
Anal-
fissure.
Anal fissure?
Yeah, the fissure.
Yeah,
that was Gus, I think, because he was
I'm
playing
not
too
don't want
many.
to say names.
He said it on the podcast.
All right.
That's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Hey, blew out his
God,
asshole.
you scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my God, I hope he's on the podcast. But he was playing video games on a flat floor.
No, that was a hemorrhoid, I thought.
Yeah, it's a difference. But basically,
A
he was
hemorrhoid-
just sitting on concrete floor, and it just went.
Or something.
What happens if you had an anal fissure and then a hemorrhoid filled it? Is that like nothing happened to you at all?
Yeah, it cancels out.
It
You're good to
cancels each
go.
other out?
You're good to go.
That's a healthy butt.
Why can't we get like sponsorship from like hemorrhoid cream or other butt related stuff?